I do have enough confidence to say that I'm going to find you the best person before somebody else, and I'm going to be more helpful through the search process, and I'm going to do more than your typical recruiter would, because I'm really a search consultant or a talent acquisition specialist, whatever label you want to put on it, part of your management, and I'm here to help you build the best possible team.
I was speaking with a CEO at a company, and one of the questions I asked him is there anybody out there you'd want to hire? And he said someone, and I knew the person, and I said, well, she would never respond to this job. And he said, well, you didn't ask me that, you asked me who I'd want to hire. I said, okay, I asked you the wrong question. Why would you want to hire her? And when he told me why he'd want to hire her, he was right. And it led me to a direction where he would hire somebody who was a lot more experienced, who I knew for 10 years. That kind of changed the direction of the company, and now that person who's been there for a little bit has called me to help set up relationships with other companies they're going to work with. So kind of one of the fun things where I can help shape a company from the ground up.
My job is to find the exact individual and to present that person. I do that in a short period of time because I know that if my client doesn't get that person and get that person hired right away, they end up losing money, and that's not good for anybody.
The biggest value to my network is trust. People know that when I work with a client, I will be honest with them about what it's like to work at that client. Within some organizations, some departments may be stronger than others. What I try and do is, through the trust that I build, say, look, based on things you've told me in the past, I think you'd fit in this environment, here's why. And you have to justify to them. At the end of the day, nobody's taking a job because I tell them to go there. They're taking a job because it's the right job for them. And I would never let somebody go somewhere I don't think they'd be happy. I couldn't live with myself. And I tell clients all the time, there's times where I'll tell them to take a job that's not through me, and I'm not getting a fee, but I think they'll be happier there. And when you do that for people, they see that you're treating them the right way. And I definitely live by the thing, I would treat others the way I'd want to be treated.
I don't consider myself a recruiter because most people define recruiters as essentially a salesman. They sell people. They sell candidates. They call in and they have the perfect people. I'm a consultant. I'm part of your management team. I help you through the entire process, not only to identify the right candidates, but to help you through every interview, providing you with feedback from the candidate, as well as information that's required for you to make an educated decision on the person that you hire. And quite frankly, I want you to hire the best person, whether that comes from me or somebody else. Because in the end, if you hire somebody that I send in and it turns out poorly, or you don't like them, it looks bad on me.
You learn how to ask questions, how to ask them right, and how to read people. And quite frankly, that's what we're paid to do. And that's why the companies, I believe, utilize us. We're good at what we do.
I started to work in the science area, and I think you could probably do this in anything, as I got to know who were the experts in that area, got to know them, got to find out who the other experts were, and then once I was in with all the experts, people perceived me as an expert. One time I was at a restaurant in San Diego with the guy who at the time was the person that the President of the United States would go to for scientific questions. And when people saw him with me, they immediately thought that I was important, and therefore they wanted to be friends with me through him. And it's not just about like who you know. I mean, you really have to be confident. Anybody can be friends with somebody else, but being able to know the right people and have the right types of relationships with them saves you a lot of time.
One of the things that I find to be really important with the contingent support is our business is based on our reputation. And if I don't find you a qualified candidate that stays there for a long time, you're not going to want to work with me. And so the only way for you to continue working with me is to make sure that I provide you with candidates that stay with your company for a long time. Not only stay with your company, but can do the job and grow with your company and make your team better.
Most of my clients know who they want to hire, they just can't figure out how to get them to come. And that's another big thing that a recruiter does. It's not just finding candidates. Anybody can do that. It's easy to get that. It's really figuring out what's important to the client, what's important to the candidate, and then putting the match together. So the value doesn't come from just knowing person, but really figuring out, is this a match? And if it is, it'll come together, and if it's not, it won't.